Division 2 of Company Schedule 3 to the company set of starting. Then Division 2. The financial statement of the companies or financial statements are drawn up in compliance with the Companies Act and compliance with the Indian Accounting Standard Tools by general instruction for preparation and preparation of financial statement of a company required to be complied with India. Every company to which Indian accounting standard applies shall prepare a financial statement in accordance with the schedule with which are modification as per the required under certain circumstances. The company is required to act including the Indian accounting standard except the opinion presenting assets and liabilities in order to liquidity or to provide the relevant entities. Except the option of the presenting assets and liability in order of the liquidity as provided by the relevant entities. As applicable to the companies, requires any changes in treatment or disclosure, including addition, amendment, substitution, or deletion on the head of subheads, or any changes in inter C in the financial statement or statement formatting. Therefore, some shall be made and the requirement under the schedule and shall stand modified completely. The disclosure requirements specified in the schedule are in the addition to any of the substitution and disclosure requirements specific in the Indian Account Standard. Additional disclosure specified in the Indian Account Standard shall be made in notes and by way of additional statements and statements unless required to be disclosed on the face of the statement. Similar to all the disclosure required by the company set of 13 shall be made in notes addition to the requirements set of the schedule. Note shall contain information to contain addition to the presentation of financial statement shall provide the requirement. A narrative representation and arrangement, narrative segregation and arrangement items, narrative descriptions and disagreement of items recognized in the statements, information about the items that do not qualify for recognition in the statement. Each item on the face of the balance sheet, statement of equity changes of equity and statement of profit and loss account shall be cross-referenced to any of the related information to the notes. In preparation to the financial statement, including notes, the balance shall be maintained between the provided excessive details that may not assess the user of financial statement and not provide for important information. As a result, too much of aggregation. Each item on the face of balance sheet statement. Each item on the face of balance sheet statement of changes in equity, statement of profit and loss account shall be cross-referred to the relevant information in the notes. In preparing the financial statement, including notes, balance shall be maintained between the provided excess details that may not assist the user financial statement or not providing the information, important information as a result of too much of aggregation. Depending upon the total income of the income, the figures appearing in the financial statement shall be around the below. Total income rounding up less than 100 crores, the nearest hundreds, thousands, lakhs, millions, and decimal therefore. More than 100 crores or more to the nearest lakhs, million crores. This is a decimal point. Once a unit of measurement is used, should be uniform in the financial statement. The financial statement shall contain the corresponding amount comparative of the that's lakhs, 10 lakhs, that's millions and crores. The financial statement shall contain a corresponding amount of the immediately preceding financial report for the items shown in the balance sheet, including the notes, except in the case of first financial statements laid before the company after incorporation. Financial statement shall disclose all the material items, that is, items that could individually or collectively influence economic decisions of the user. Make on the basis of financial statement, materiality depends on the size and nature of the item, combines of both to judgment of the particular performance. For the purpose of schedule, the terms used thereon shall have the same meaning assigned to the Indian Accounting Standard. The schedule and terms therein shall have the same meaning assigned to them in the Indian Accounting Standard. Well, any of the act and regulation requires specific disclosure to made in a standalone statement. Says that said disclosure shall be made in accordance with those requirements of the schedule. Note the schedule will set out the maximum requirement for disclosure in the case of financial statement as a balance sheet, statement of changes in equity for the period, statement of profit and loss for the period. That statement of profit and loss has the same meaning as a profit and loss account. Under notes, cash flow statement shall be prepared while applicable to the applicable in accordance with the requirement of relevant Indian accounting standard. The line item, subline item, subtotal shall be presented as an addition and substitution of the face of the financial statement. When such presentation is relevant to the understanding of the company position and performance required of the industry or subspecific disclosure requirement when required for compliance and amendment of Companies Across 13 and under the Indian Accounts Act. First name of the company, balance sheet as on the date. Piccolo circle notes figures at the end of the current previous figures at the end of the previous beginning. 3 4. Asset, non-current asset. First asset, the non-current asset. Property, plant and equity, capital work in progress, investment property, goodwill, other tangible assets, intangible assets are development, biological assets other than beer, financial assets, investment, trade, receivable, and other into investment or receivable asset, trade receivables, loans which are our equal loans are equal tax asset, other non-current assets. Current assets including inventory, financial assets including investment what we need in the 1 year, trade receivable, cash and cash equivalent, bank balances other than the three above, loan, bank balances and loans which is we given, others to be specified, current tax asset, other current asset, total assets is classification, equity and liability, equity share capital, yeah, other equity, liability, non-current liability, financial liability, borrowing, lease liability, trade payable, total outstanding dues of the micro enterprises and small enterprises, total outstanding dues of the creditors other than micro enterprises, small enterprises, other financial liability, other than those specified and the B to be specified, provision before tax liability, other non-current liability, current liability, financial liability, borrowing, lease liability, current liability, money liability, trade payable, total outstanding dues of a micro enterprises and small enterprises, total and outstanding dues and creditors other than micro enterprises, small enterprises, other financial liability other than the specified items, other current liability provisions and current liability net total net equity liability. I see the accumulated notes in the statement of changes in equity, name of the company, equity share capital, current period, current reporting period, balance at the beginning of the current reporting period, changes in equity shares capital due to the prior period errors, prior period errors, restarted balance at the beginning of the current period, changes in equity share capital during the current period, balance at the end of the current period. Previous reporting period, balance at the beginning of the previous reporting period, changes in equity of the capital due previous period. Restated balance at the beginning of the previous period, changes in equity share capital during the current period, balance at the end of the previous reporting period. Current reporting period, other equity. So the other equity, share application money pending allotment, equity component of one compound financial instrument, reserves and surplus, capital reserves, security premium, other reserves, retained reserves. Debt instrument through comprehensive income, equity investment through other comprehensive income, effective proportion of cash flow hedges, revaluation surplus, exchanges differences on translation of financial statement or an operation, other items and other comprehensive income specific nature, money received against share capital and total. Balance at the beginning of current reporting period, changes in accounting policy in prior period, restated balance of the current reporting period, total comprehensive income of the current period, dividend, transfer of retained earning, other changes to be specified, balance at the end of the current reporting period. Previous reporting period, share application money pending allotment, share application money received is pending allotment, equity component of compound financial instrument, resource and surplus, capital reserve, security premium, other resource specific nature, retained earning, debt instrument through other comprehensive income, equity instrument through other comprehensive income, effective portion of cash flow hedges, revaluation surplus, exchange rate difference, translation of financial interest in of foreign operation, other items and other comprehensive income, money received against the share capital and total. Balance at the beginning of the previous year, changes in accounting policy in previous year, restated balance in the beginning of previous year, total comprehensive income previous year, dividend, transfer of retained earning, any other changes in the specified, any other changes to be specified, balance in the end of the previous year. The remeasurement of defined benefit plans and the fair value changes related to the own collaterals for financial liability designed at the fair value through profit and loss shall be recognized as a part of retained earning. As a separate disclosure of such items along with the relevant amount of the note shall be shown in the separate column under resource and surplus. General instruction for preparation of balance sheet. The entity shall classify an asset as a current when it expects to realize the asset or intend to sell or consume it in a normal operation cycle. It holds the asset primarily for the purpose of trading. It expects the realized asset within 12 months of the due date of reporting period. The asset is in cash and the cash equivalent unless asset is restricted from being exchanged or used to settle the liability at least 12 months from the reporting period. Entity shall classify all the assets as non-current asset. Reporting cycle. The entity is the time between acquisition of assets and processing the operating cycle of the entity in the time being acquisition of asset of processing the realization of the cash and cash equivalent. The entity's normal operating cycle is not clearly evidable. It is assumed to be 12 months. The entity shall classify the liability as current when they expect to settle the liability in a normal operating cycle. It holds the liability primarily for purpose of trade. The liability is due to the settle within 12 months from the day from the reporting day period, or it does not have any conditional right to defer settlement in the liability for at least 12 months after the reporting period. The terms of liability that could, under option of the counterparty, result in settlement and the issue of the equity instrument do not affect the classification. The entity shall classify all other liabilities as non-current. The receivable shall be classified as a trade receivable. It is the respect of the amount due and amount of goods sold or charges rendered in the normal course of business. The receivable shall be the trade receivable, the amount due and accounting goods sold or rendered in the normal course of business. A payable shall be classified as payable. It is a respect to the amount due on account of the goods purchased, services rendered in the normal course of business. The company shall disclose the following in the notes: non-current assets, plant, property, equipment, classification given as a land, building, plant and equipments, furniture and fitting, vehicles, office equipments, and payroll and other specific in nature. Assets under the lease shall be separately specified under the class of assets. The lease shall be separately specified under the lease. Mm. The reconciliation of the gross and net carrying amount of each class of assets at beginning and end of the reporting period shows addition, disposal, acquiring during the business combination. Amount of change due to revaluation. If the change is 10% more than aggregate of the net carrying value of each class of property, plant and equipment, and the adjustment and the relevant rate depreciation, impairment losses, and reversal shall be disclosed separately. Investment property. The reconciliation of the gross and net carrying value of each class of property at the beginning and end of the reporting period shows addition, disposal, acquisition through the business combination, other adjustment, and the relevant depreciation and impairment losses, and reversal shall be disclosed separately. Goodwill. But the reconciliation of the gross and net carrying amount of equipment at the beginning and end of the reporting period shows addition, impairment, disposal, other adjustment. Other intangible assets. Classification shall be other intangible assets will be brands, trademarks, computer software, mass threads and publishing times, mining rights, copyrights, patent, intellectual property rights, services, operating rights, received recipients, formulae, model design, prototypes, leases and finance and others. Reconciliation of the gross and the net carrying amount of each class of asset at the beginning and the end of the reporting period are shown addition, disposal, acquisition through the business combination. The amount of change due to revaluation, the change is movement, 10 they change 10 percentage or more in aggregate of the net carrying value of each class of intangible asset. Um, in other adjustment of the relevant amortization, impairment loss or reversal shall be disclosed separately. Biological assets other than beer plant. Reconciliation. A reconciliation of carrying amount of each class of assets at the beginning and end of the reporting period shows addition, disposal, acquisition through business combination. And other addition shall be disclosed separately. Investment classified into investment in equity instrument, investment in preferential shares, investment in government and trust securities, investment debentures and bond, investment in mutual fund, investment in partnership firms, and other investment specific nature. Under the classification, details shall be given the name of the body's corporate or subsidiaries, associates, joint venture, and structured entities to whom the investment has been made. Mm, to whom the investment has been made and the nature and extent of investment so made and such body corporate show separate investment pay partly pay. An investment or partnership firm along the names of the firms to their partners, total capital, or shares, and each partner and disclose separately. The following shall also be whole disclosed. An aggregate amount of quoted investment and market value thereof, aggregate amount of unquoted investment, and aggregate amount of impairment value of investment. So this follow shall disclose the unquoted investment, and impairment value of asset. Trade receivable. Trade receivable shall be subclassified into trade receivable considered goods, secure trade receivable considered goods, unsecured trade receivable which is significant increase in creditors, and trade receivable product impact. The allowance for bad and doubtful debt shall be disclosed under the relevant head. The debts due to directors or other officers of the company, any other was severally or jointly with other persons and debts due from the firms and private companies separately in the form of director and of partners and director and members shall be shown separately. The trade receivable outstanding following each schedule shall be given. Outstanding the following period for the for the due dates. Less than 6 months, 6 months, 1 year, 1 to 2 years, 2 to 3 years, more than 3 years. Undisputed trade receivable considered good. Undisputed trade receivable which is significant risk of credit. Undisputed trade receivable credit impact. And a disputed trade receivable considered good. Considered good. Disputed trade receivable which have significant increase in credit. Disputed trade receivable credit impact. Similar information shall be given through due date of the payment and specified in the case of disclosure shall be form a date of transaction. Unbilled due shall be disclosed separately. Loans. So loans can be classified as loans to a related party, give the details thereof, and other loans. Loan receivable shall be subclassified into loan receivable considered good secure, loan receivable considered good unsecured, loan receivable which has significant increase in credit risk. Loan receivable is secured credit impaired. The above shall also be separately subclassified as secured, considered good, unsecured, considered good, and doubtful. This allowance for bad and doubtful loans shall be disclosed under the relevant heads of separately. Loans due by the director or other officer of the company or any of them either jointly or separately with any other person, amount due by the firms and partnership company respectively in which a director or a partner or director or member shall be registered. Loan due by director to other officer of the company, any other severally jointly with any other person amount due by the firm or private company respectively in which directors or partner, directors and member may be separate state. Other financial assets, security deposits, bank deposits more than 12 months maturity, others. Other non-current assets shall be classified as capital advances, advances other than capital advances. Advances other than capital advances shall be classified into security deposits, advances to related parties, given details thereof, or other advances. Advances to director and other officers of the company or any of them, neither severally, jointly with other person. Advances to the firm, private companies, respectively, which directors, a partner, or directors, member shall be separately stated. In the case of advances for the nature of the financial asset as relevant to individuals, there is some disclosure under the financial assets separately. Yes. Non-current assets, inventories. Inventory shall be classified as raw material, working progress, storage goods, stock in trade, stores and spares, goods, tools, others. And the goods in transit shall be disclosed under the subhead of inventories and mode of goods in transit shall be disclosed under the subhead of inventories. Mode of valuation shall be stated. Investment can be classified as investment in equity instrument, investment in preferential shares, investment in government and trusted securities, investment in debentures or bonds, investment in mutual funds, investment partnership firms, and other investment. And each in classification detail shall be given the names of body corporate, subsidiaries, associates, joint ventures, structured entities to whom the investment has been made and the nature and extent of investment so made. Each of such body corporate shows separately investment and which is partly paid The following shall also be disclosed. The aggregate amount of quoted investment and the market value thereof. The aggregate amount of unquoted investment, the aggregate amount of impairment or value of investment. Trade receivable. A trade receivable shall be subclassified as a trade receivable considered good secure, trade receivable considered good unsecured. Trade receivable which is significant increase in trade receivable which has a significant receivable credit risk. Trade receivable has a credit impact. The allowance of bad and doubtful debt shall be disclosed and other relevant heads separately. And the debts due by the creditors and other officers of the company or any other severally or jointly with any other person or due by the firm or a private company seeking respectively to whom the director or to in which any director partner director member should be separately stated. For a trade receivable outstanding, following age is report given. Trade receivable age is outstanding for the following period from due date of payment. Less than 6 months, 6 months to 1 year, 1 year to 2 year, 2 year to 3 year, more than 3 years, and total 40. Undisputed trade receivable considered good. Undisputed trade receivable which has significant increase in risk. Undisputed trade receivable credit impact. Undisputed trade receivable considered good. Undisputed trade receivable which has significant increase in credit risk. Disputed trade risk are considered good. Disputed trade considered a significant increase in credit risk. Disputed trade credit impact. Similar information shall be given. There is no due date of payment specified that the case disclosure shall be made by the transaction. Shall be given where no due date of payment is specified in the case disclosure shall be made date of time of transaction. Unbilled due shall be disclosed. Unbilled due shall be disclosed separately. Uh, Cash and cash equivalents. Cash and cash equivalent shall be classified as balances with the bank. A structure of cash and cash equivalent, checks, drafts, and check and drafts in hands, and check cash in hand, other specific nature of loans. Loan shall be classified as a loan to a related party, giving the details thereof and other specific nature. Loan receivable shall be subclassified as a loan receivable considered good secure, loan receivable considered good unsecured. And a loan receivable which has significant increase in credit risk and loan receivable credit impact. Allowances for bad and doubtful debts shall be disclosed under the relevant heads separately. Loans due by the director and any other officer of the company and any other severally jointly with any of the person or amount due by the firms or amount due by partnership company, partner or private companies respectively in which any director is a partner or any director is a director, any director's member shall be disclosed separately listed. Other financial assets. This is an all-inclusive heading which incorporates financial assets but do not fit into any other financial asset category. Just security deposit. Other current assets. This is a well-inclusive head which incorporates current assets that do not fit into the other current assets. Other current assets shall be classified as advances other than capital advances. Advances other than capital advances are classified as security advances, advances to related parties. Give the details of other advances, specific advances to director and other officers of the company or any of them either severally or jointly with of the persons advances of form private company respect to which director is a partner or director is a member who separately stated. Beyond the mark balance in bank, for example, unpaid dividend shall be separately stated. Non-mark balance in bank, for example, unpaid dividend shall be separately stated. Balances with the bank extend held as a margin money or security against borrowings, security against guarantee, or security against other commitment shall be disclosed separately. A repatriation restriction in any case, with respect of the cash and bank balance shall be separately stated. Entity. The entity share capital. For each class of equity, a share capital, the number and amount of share of authorizers. So for number of class, number and amount of share of authorizers, number of authorization, number and amount of share authorization, the number of shares issued, subscribed and fully paid, subscription, subscribed but not fully. Par value of share, a reconciliation of number of share outstanding at the beginning and the end of the period. The right shares, preference share restriction against each class of shares, including restriction on the distribution of dividend and repayment of capital or repayment of capital. Shares at respect of each classes of the company held by the holding company and its ultimate holding company, including shares held by subsidiaries, shares held by associates of the holding company, shares held by the ultimate holding company in aggregate. Mm. Shares in a company held by each shareholder holding more than 5% of the shares specified in the number of shareholders. Share reserved for an issue under option. Share reserves for issues under options and contract and commitment sale of shares and disinvestment including terms and amount. An option and contract or commitment or sale of shares for a period of 5 years immediately preceding the date of the balance sheet paper. Aggregate number and class of shares allotted as a full paid up pursuant to contract without payment has been received in cash. Aggregate number of class and shares allotted and fully paid up by way of bonus shares. Aggregate number of cash and shares bought. The terms of any securities convertible into equity shares issue along with the earliest date of conversion in as a dissenting order stating that from the furthest such call unpaid showing aggregate value of call unpaid by directors and officers. For future shares shows originally paid for the company shall call shareholders of the shareholding of the promoters and ownership. Disclose the shareholders holding of the promoters and share held by the promoter at the end of the year and percentage of change during it. STL number, promoter name, number of shares, percentage of share change during this year. Promoter means promoter defined company sector certain details shall be given separately in each subsets. Percentage change shall be computed in respect of the number and beginning of the year which issued during the year. For the first time when the respect of the date issue. Other equity. Other reserves shall be classified to the notice, capital redemption reserve, the Benja redemption reserve, the share option outstanding reserve. Other specify name or nature and amount of each reserve amount respectively. Addition and reduction shares in last balance sheet to be shown under the specification. Retained in respect of surplus, the balance of the relevant column in the statement of changes equity. Reserves specifically represent given note investment shall disclose a um, fact and 100%. Debit balances of profit and loss account shall be shown as a negative figures under net retained earnings similar to the balances of the other equity. Other equity of after the adjusted negative balances of retained earnings. And if any of has been shown under the head other equity, even the resulting value is in under the head of other equal disclosure shall be made the nature and amount of each item. Non-current liability borrowing. Borrowing shall be classified as bonds and debentures. Terms loan from banks and other parties. Deferred payment of liability. Deposit loan from related parties. Liability components. Component financial instruments. Other instruments. Borrowing shall further be classified as secure and unsecured. Nature of security shall be classified separately in each case. Where a loan has been guaranteed by the guarantors and others, aggregate amount of the loan under each head shall be disclosed. Bond and debentures along with the rate of interest, particulars of redemption, conversion fees, and fees shall be distributed to the descending order and conversion. And starting from the farthest redemption conversion date. As the case may be, where the bonds and debentures are redemptible installment, the date of maturity of the purpose of the bond as a date of which first installments became due. Depending. The particulars of the redemption bonds and debenture which company has a power to reissue shall be issued. And terms of repayment of the term means another mention. The period and the amount of default as the balance sheet date and the repayment of the bond period amount of default as the balance sheet date. The repayment of borrowing interest shall be specified separately in each case. Provision amount shall be classified as the provision of employee benefit and other specific. Other current liability advances and others. Current liability borrowings. Borrowing shall be classified into a loan repayable on demand, bank from other party, loan from related parties, loan from deposits or other loan signature. Borrowings shall further be subclassified in secure and secure. Nature of the security shall be specified separately in each case. Where the loans has been guaranteed by the directors and others, the aggregate amount of such loans under the head shall be disclosed. The period and amount of default as a balance sheet date of repayment and the borrowings and the interest shall be classified separately in this. Current maturity and long-term borrowing shall be disclosed separately. Other financial liability shall be classified as interest accrued, unpaid dividend, interest accrued, unpaid dividend, application money received for output of securities to refundable and interest accrued thereon. Unpaid mature deposit and interest accrued thereon. Unpaid mature deposit and interest accrued thereon. Depends on unpaid mature deposits and interest accrued thereon. Other specific. The long-term debts, the following borrowing having a period more than 12 months at time of orientation or origination. A term current liability, the amount shall be classified as a revenue received in advance. Other advances of specific nature and other specific promotion amount shall be classified as provision of employees benefit and other specific nature. Trade payable following details on related to micro, small, medium enterprise shall be classified in where principal amount and interest therein should separately remaining unpaid to the supplier and the end of each accounting period. Amount of interest paid by the buyer in terms of Section 16 of Micro, Small, Medium Enterprise Development Act 2006, along with an amount of payment made to supplier beyond appointment date during each accounting year. Amount of interest due and payable for the period of delay of which make a payment while has been paid but are beyond the appointment date during the year but without adding interest specified in micro, small and medium enterprises and development. Account of interest accrued and rendering unpaid at the end of accounting year. Amount of further interest remaining due and payable even the successive year. Until such a date of the interest dues who actually pay to small enterprises for the purpose of disallowance and dissolute expenditure under Section 23 Micro and Medium Small Enterprises 2006. Explanation in terms of appointment date, buyer enterprises, micro enterprises, small enterprises have been meaning assigned to the class TEH. And as per Section 2 micro medium enterprises, the trade payable due from the payment following making schedule has been due. Particular outstanding of the following period due rate of payment less than 1 year, 1 to 2 years, 2 to 3 years, more than 3 years of CMS only, others disputed dues, CMS only, disputed dues others. Similar information shall be given where no due date of the payment is specified. In the case of disclosure shall be from the date of transaction until due shall be separate plus disclosed separate. The percentage and liability associated with the group of asset classified in the held of sale, non-current say asset classified the held for sale shall be accordance with the relevant Indian accounting standard. Contingent liability and commitment to the extent of not provided. The contingent liability shall be classified as claims against the company, non-acknowledged. Guarantee excluding the financial guarantee. Guarantee excluding financial guarantee. Other money which the company is contingent liability. And commitment shall be classified as estimate amount of contract money to be excluded. And on a capital account are not provided. Uncalled liability of shares and other investment property. Other commitment. The account of dividend proposed to be distributed to the to the equity and the preferential shares of the paid title rated the amount per share shall be disclosed separately. The area of fixed cumulative dividend in the year immediate preference share shall also be disclosed separately. Now, with respect of the issue of securities made specific purpose and whole and part of has not been used for specific purpose in balance sheet as only indicates by way of know how such a utilized amount has been used or invested. When a company has not used borrowing from banks or financial institutions for a specific purpose for which has been taken on the balance sheet trade, the company should disclose the detail of which they have used for additional regulatory information. Title deed of immovable property is not held in the name of company. The company shall provide details of the immovable property other than the property. A company is in lease and lease agreement duly executed in favor of a lease. But the title deed is not held in the name of the company. The following format where such immovable property is jointly held in others detail requirement to give the extent of the company share. Relevant line item in the balance sheet to PP description of the property, land and building, gross carrying value, title deed held of the name of whether the title deed holder is a promoter, title holder is a director, title holder is a relative or promoter or director of employee or promoter. Since property held since which date, reason is not being held in the name of the company. Investment property, land building, paper, plant, PPV, plant property, equipment retired after active use and held for disposal, land building, others. The relative means a company is at 2013. The promoter means a promoter and the financial company is at 2013. Based on the valuation by the registered value definition, the rule to other companies. Registered values and regulation corresponding. Where the company is valued as plant, property, plant and equipment, you right to use as a companies are disclosed as to whether the revaluation is based on the valuation by the registered value definition under the rule 2 of companies registered value valuation rule something. As a company is revalued its intangible assets, the asset company shall be disclosed as to whether the revaluation is based on the valuation by the registered value defined in the rule 2 of the company's registered values and valuation principles. The following distortion shall be made whether loans and advances in nature of loans are granted to promoters, granted to directors, granted to key manager persons, and other related parties defined under the Companies Act and either severally or jointly owned by others. And a repayment on demand is a repayment on demand. The specific and other terms of the period of repayment. Types of borrowers, amount of loans and advance in the nature of loans outstanding, percentage of total loans advance in the nature of outstanding. Promoters, directors, key manager person, related parties. What are the loan outstanding? Percentage of loan outstanding and nature of loans. Capital work in progress. For capital work in progress, the following age by schedule to be given. Capital work in progress, project in progress, less than 1 year, 1 to 2 years, 2 to 3 years, more than 3 years, and the project of temporal suspensions. The capital work in progress, the completion overdue as exercise its cost compared to its original plans on the cost of capital work in progress complete schedule as uh, to be completed less than 1 year, to be completed more 1 to 2 years, to be completed 2 to 3 years, more than 2 years to be completed. Project one, project two. The extra the project activity has been suspended shall be given separately. Intensive asset under development. An intensive asset under development following age-based report shall be given intensive asset under development in amount of capital work in progress of the period. Intangible assets, project in progress, project temporarily suspended, less than 1 year, less than 2 years, 1 to 2 years, 2 to 3 years. Amount in capital work in progress, more than 3 years total. Total shall be tallied with the amount of intangible asset under the development of balance sheet. For intangible asset under the development whose completion of overdues has been exceeded its cost compared to original plan. Following intangible assets under development completion schedule shall be given. Capital work in project to be completed in less than 1 year, 1 to 2 years, to be completed in 2 to 3 years, to be completed more than 3 years. Project and project detail of the project activities has been suspended and shall also be given separately. The amount. Detail of Benami property claim, where any of the procedure has been initiated and pending against a company for holding any of the Benami property under the Benami transaction of 1980 and rules therein, company shall disclose the following. The details of such property, amount thereof, or details of the beneficiaries. If the property is in the books, then reference to the items in the balance sheet. If the property is not in the books, then the fact shall be stated in the reason. Well, there is a proceeding against a company under this law as better as the transaction. As a transfer, then the details shall be provided. Nature of proceeding, status of the same, and company also. We are taking for the company has a borrowing from the bank and financial institution on the basis of securities and the current asset description. By the quarterly returns or statements of current assets filed by the company with the banking, financial institution, or arrangement with the banks or accounts. It is not the summary of reconciliation, reason of the material discriminatory, if any, of the absolute disclosure. Willful defaulter. Well, when a company is decided willful defaulted by any of the bank or financial institutions, so Benami have a company disclose the following detail of the property, amount thereof, detail of the beneficiaries, the books of property, the properties in the books, reference to the item, the balance sheet, the property is not in the books, fact shall be stated in the lesson where there is any proceeding against the company under the law in the better of transaction or transfer of the details provided, nature of book, proceeding status and name, say in the company's use. The company has a review for was borrowing the security of the current asset itself disclose the following. Whether the quarterly returns or the statements of the current asset filled by the company with the bank's operations or arrangement of the books of account. If not, summary of reconciliation or reason of the material discrimination, if any other adequate disclosure. Willful default or the company is the or declared willful default in any bank, financial institution, or any in the following details shall be given. Date of declaration of willful default, details of the default. Willful defaulter means a person or issues who which is categorized the willful default of a bank or financial institution as a default of company sector authority and consort in therefore accordance with the guidelines of willful default issued by the Reserve Bank of India. Relationship with the strike of company. Where the company has been any transaction with the company strike in the section 248 of the Companies Act 13, section 256 of Companies Act of 1986. Company disclose the following details: name of the company strike off, nature of transaction with strike of companies, balance outstanding, relationship with the strike of company if undisclosed, investment in securities, receivable, payable, shares held by stock of company, other outstanding balances. Registration of charges when satisfying with the registration of companies. For any charges are satisfied to be registered with the ROC beyond a statutory period, details and reason for such a need disclosed. Companies with the when a company has not complied with the number of layers prescribed under clause 87 of section 2 of the Act created with the company and restriction of the number of layers of rules over 17, the name, the sin of the company beyond the specific layers are likely to extend to the whole of company, downstream company shall be disclosed. Following ratios to this one, current ratio, debt equity ratio, debt to service coverage ratio, the return on equity ratio, inventory turnover ratio, inventory on the trade receivable, turnover, return receivable turnover ratio, trade payable turnover ratio, net capital turnover ratio, non-profit profit ratio, return on capital employed ratio, return on investment ratio. The company can explain the items include towards a numerator and denominator for the computation of the ratio. Further explain shall be provided for any changes in the ratios more than 25% compared to the preceding year. Compliance with the approved scheme arrangement. When the schemes and arrangement has been approved by the competent authority in the statement in the section 230 to 237 to 70 of the Companies Act 2013, company should disclose the effect of such a change in the agreement has been accounted in the books of account in the company accordance with schemes and accordance with the accounting standard and any of the deviation according to the explanation. Utilization of borrowed funds and share premium. When the company has advances or loans or investment funds, either borrowing funds or share premium or any other sources or any other kind, to any other personal entries, including foreign entities, intermediate with outstanding, whether recorded in the writing, otherwise, be intermediate shall directly, indirectly, lend or inverse in other causes or entries identified in any manner whatsoever by or on behalf of the company's ultimate beneficiaries and provided any guarantee, security, or or the like to behalf of the ultimate beneficiary company disclose the following. A date and amount of fund advance loans are invested in the intermediaries and complete details of such intermediaries. Data of amount for the advanced loan or invested in any of the intermediaries to the intermediaries and the ultimate beneficiary of that Data amount of guarantee security provided to on behalf of the ultimate beneficiaries. Declaration that relevant provision of the foreign exchange management Act of 1999 the companies has been complied with for the transaction and transactions are not violation to prevention of money laundering act 2002 where a company has received any from fund from any persons or entities including foreign entities with the outstanding whether the record has a record writing otherwise, the company shall directly, indirectly lend or invest in any persons or entities identified in any manner whatsoever by or on behalf of the funding party ultimate beneficiaries. Provide any guarantee, security, or like as behalf of the ultimate beneficiary, company shall disclose the following. State an amount of refund or received from the funded parties to the complete details of each funded party data amount of fund further advance of the loans or invested and the intermediates ultimate beneficiary along with the complete details of other intermediates ultimate beneficiary data amount of guarantee securities are likely provided to on behalf of the ultimate beneficiaries declaration that related to provision of foreign exchange management act of 1999 company has complied with such transaction and transactions not violate to the prevention of money laundering act 2002 when the company is with applies on accounting policy retrospective and make and restatement of item in the statement and when the reclassification item in the statement the company shall attach the balance sheet in the beginning of the earliest comprehensive period of present. The share application money pending allotment shall be classified into equity or liability in accordance with relevant Indian accounting standards. Share application money to the extent is non-refundable shall be shown under the head equity and share capital money to be extended refunded shall be shown separate in the other financial liability. The preferential shares including premium received and issue shall be classified on the present and equity liability according to the requirement of relevant Indian accounting standard according to the disclosure presented in each statement. To the relevant class of equity or liability shall be applicable mutatis mutatis the preference shares. For instance, a plain vanilla redemption preference share shall be classified and presented under non-current liability and borrowing the disclosure requirement to be rate applicable to its borrowing shall be applicable mutatis and redeemable preferences. The compound financial instruments such as convertible debentures were split into equity and liability component as per the requirement of the relevant Indian application that shall be classified and present under the relevant head equity and liability. The regulatory deferral account balance shall be present in balance sheet in accordance with the relevant Indian accounting standard. Statement of profit and loss account. The statement of profit and loss stated particulars, notes, figures to enter the current period year and figures in previous year. Revenue from operation, other income, total income, expenses, cost of material consumed, purchase in stock into changes in inventory of the finished goods, stock entry, work in progress, employee benefit expenses, finance cost, depreciation and material expenses, other expenses. Total profit or loss before the exceptional item tax. Exceptional items. So profit and loss before exceptional items and tax. Before exceptional items and taxes. After exceptional items, ఇది after exceptional items and taxes. Current tax, for tax profit and loss after continuous operation. Mm, Current profit and loss after discontinuing operation. Total expenses of discontinued operation, the profit and loss account, profit and loss from discontinued operation, total expenses of discontinued operation, profit and loss from discontinued operation, profit and loss of the period, total comprehensive income. The items will not be reclassified to profit and loss account. And income tax related to the items which will not be reclassified into profit and loss account. Items that will be classified to profit and loss account. Incomes that tax related to the items that will be classified into profit and loss account. Total comprehensive income of the profit period. Comprehensive profit and loss and other comprehensive income period. Earning per equity share for a continuous period, basic and derivative. Earning per equity share for discontinued operation, basic and derivative. Earning per equity share for discontinuing continued operation, basic and derivative. See the accumulation notes of financial statement. General instruction for preparation and presentation of profit and loss account. The provision of the part shall apply to the income and expenditure accounts like a manner as per the apply the statement of profit and loss. Statement of profit account and increase profit and loss of the period. Other comprehensive income the period from some one and two total comprehensive income. Revenue from operations will be disclosed separately and also sale of the products including electricity, sale of services, grant, donation received, and relevant case of Section 8 Companies Act. And see the and other operations. Financial program as interest, dividend in the redeemed preferred shares, and dividend on redeemed preferred shares, exchange differences, exchange redemption on adjustment borrowing costs, other borrowing costs, other income. Other income shall be classified as an interest income, dividend income, other non-operating income, net of expenses for directly attributed to income. Other comprehensive income shall be classified into items which that will not be classified profit loss. Changes in revaluation surplus. Other comprehensive classified into item is not classified profit. Change in revaluation surplus. Remeasurement of deemed benefit plans equity instruments through other comprehensive income, fair value of changes of regard relating to own credit risk of financial liability are designated at the fair value to profit and loss account. Share of other comprehensive income in associate joint venture to the extent not to be classified to profit and loss account. Share of other comprehensive income in the other state associated joint venture to the extent not to be classified to possible. Others items that will be classified to profit and loss account. Exchange difference in translation of financial statement of the foreign operation, and debt instrument through other comprehensive income, the effective portion of gain and loss on hedging instrument and cash flows to cash flow hedges, shares on other comprehensive income in associate joint venture and extent of the classified into profit and loss account. Others. Additional information companies shall disclose via notes additional information regarding cricket expenditure income the following employee benefit expenses, salary, wages, contribution to provident fund, others, share-based payments to employees, staff welfare expenses, depreciation, amortized expenses, gain an item of income or expenditure in exceed 1% of the revenue from the operation or 110 lakhs, whichever is higher, in addition to the consideration of materiality in a specified in the clause 7 of the specified instruction of preparation or statement of state preparation of financial statement of the company. In interest income, interest expense, dividend income, net gains and loss on sale of investment, net gain and loss on a financial currency transaction related other consideration and for payment or to auditor of taxation matters for company law matters and other services for reimbursement of expenses. In case of company covered section 135 amount of expense incurred in the corporate social responsibility activity. Details of item or exceptional item. Undisclosed income. The company shall give details of an undisclosed transaction of not recorded in the books of account that as are we surrender discloses the income during the year the tax increment under the income tax of 1961 and such as search and search survey any other relevant provision of income tax act unless there is an immunity for disclosure under any scheme shall also state whether the previously unrecorded income are recorded in the books of accounts within the year. Corporate social responsibility where the company covered in section 135 of the company said following shall be disclosed in the CSR activity. Account amount required to be spent by the companies during the year. Amount of expenditure in income, shortfall on the end of the year, total previous year shortfall. The reason for shortfall, nature of CSR activities done. Details of related party transaction, contribution to trust controlled by the company in relation to CSR expenditure and relevant accounting standard. Where the provision is made with related to the liability incurred by the entity entering in a contractual obligation. And movement of provision during the year shall be shown separately. Details of cryptocurrency and virtual currency where the company is trading in investment in cryptocurrency or virtual currency during the financial following division. Profit and loss on the statement including cryptocurrency and virtual currency, amount of currency held by the operating entity. The deposits are advanced from any of the personal purpose of trading or invest in cryptocurrencies and virtual currencies. Changes in the regulatory deferral amount balance shall be presented in the profit and loss account with relevant of Indian accounting standards. General instruction preparation percentage and consolidated financial statement. For a company is required to prepare consolidated statement, the consolidated statement changes in equity and consolidated statement of profit and loss account company which need to follow the requirement of schedule. As applicable to the companies in preparation of the balance sheet, statement of changes in equity, statement of profit and loss. In addition to the consolidated statement shall disclose information as per the requirements resolved in the applicable Indian accounting standard. Vertical and the company is Indian accounts are defined to the following. Profit and loss attributable to non-controlling interest to owners of the parent. In the statement of profit and loss shall be presented in accordance with the further total comprehensive income for the period attributable to non-controlling interest. But the owners of the parent shall be presented in the statement of profit and loss adopting the proposed disclosure total comprehensive income shall also be made in the statement of chosen equity. In addition to the disclosure requirement in the Indian accounting standard, the opposite disclosure shall be made in respect of other comprehensive income. Non-controlling interest, the balance sheet used in the statement of changes in equity within the entity shall be represented separately from the equity of owners of patent. Investment accounted and used for internal. The consolidated statement of following shall be disclosed in the nature of entity group, net asset of total assets minus total liability, profit, sharing profit and loss account, sharing other comprehensive income, sharing total comprehensive income. Enter asset minus total liability, share of comprehensive income, comprehensive income. There are non-controlling interest in our subsidiaries, average investment unit, third foreign joint venture investment, other entity, foreign all subsidiaries, associate, joint venture, and Indian foreign shall be covered under the consolidated. The entity shall disclose a list of subsidiaries, associate, joint venture which has been consolidated into consolidated statement along with the reason of non-consolidated.